Hello and welcome to another episode of DotA Unlocked. I'm Nomad, he's Mofarah, and we are here with a lovely special guest, TIA analyst, and amongst many other things. But right now, I think that's it's a pretty good title to have, Mr. Trent Pax Trent McKenzie. How are you doing, my dude?
Fine, thanks. Yes, wow, what a title. That wasn't exactly expected, I don't think. Well, I don't know. I guess maybe someone. It was very hopeful. It's definitely the goal, right? That's
Yeah,
what you want to hear the next year. So got it. High five, everyone. Did it. So yeah, very excited to be joining you guys.
absolutely. Yeah. So, but I mean, we're pretty chill here. We've got no real
Oh, okay.
direction, no focus in life. We just want to
Oh, that's
we just
good.
want to
This is
get
like all of the podcasts I'm a part of, anyways. This is
yeah.
perfect.
We just want to get inside the mind of you. But this one's centered around you, right? Like, all the other podcasts
Perfect.
talking about like Dota and boring stuff. No. We're just about the Trent life. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, we started off on TI8. Might as well continue down that path. How did that letter come through? I mean, in my mind, I like to think it's kind of some like gold sealed envelope which comes through your
Yeah.
door, and it's like, is there anything like that?
Well, for the three of us, we missed the boat, guys. We all came in a little too late. No matter what happens in your Dota career, we will never get. As far as I know, we're never getting the Ice Frog call. I did not get the Ice Frog call. I know that's how it used to go. It used to be back in the dark days when everything was on Skype. You received a message directly from Ice Frog, and he invited you to TI. He'd say a little message about something about you, and be like, "I'd like you to come work at TI." And that's what used to happen. And then it started being handed over to like other Valve employees started getting people. But I was a little fortunate actually because I was asked in person at the Super Major, which was pretty cool. I think I was the first person invited, at least out of the English talent. So that was kind of cool. Because as far as anyone, there were a couple other people around when I was actually asked. It was a little weird because I was standing next to Odie Pixel, Sheever, and Cap, and I was asked like in front of them, "Oh hey, do you want to come work at TI?" So I guess by that notion, we assumed the three of them were also invited. Thank God, or else that would have been really awkward. Uh, but yeah, so that was very exciting. It was cool to get it in person. Was definitely unexpected, and it all made sense why there's so many Valve employees at the Super Major now that TI's in Shanghai next year.
Ah, okay. They were like scoping the ground, getting their agents on the
Yes.
on ground zero before that. Nice. See
Yeah,
that
they just
that.
told us they were worried about the Shanghai Major happening again, but clearly that was a lie.
You've heard about James 2GD coming back, haven't you? He said on his stream.
I have supposedly. So now has he said? I didn't actually watch the clip because it looked long. So what's the deal? Is he actually confirmed working something? I hope so.
He says. I think he said he wanted to come back. He had a few offers to do some things, so might
I know
look to
people
coming
have
back into
offered
it.
him in the past. Well, at least I've heard that he's been offered in the past and he didn't accept. So hopefully that obviously sounds like he's changing his mind up on that.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers
I'm
crossed,
in.
indeed. I've got a very own quote. This is like the first time I ever saw you casting, like way back in like WSG or whatever. I always had this question on my mind. So whenever you play
All right.
Trent Protector,
Yeah.
do you call yourself the Trent Protector?
Yes, definitely. That is
Cool.
100% a fact.
Good.
That was a missed out content piece where we were gonna have, I don't know, Slacks wanted to run around and start pushing people out of my way as we walk down streets, calling himself the Trent Protector. Kind of glad that one didn't happen.
And
Yeah, that was the first hero I ever played actually because I don't know, I just by happenstance kind of like Ents in most games, and then it was kind of funny that he was literally called Trent Protector, so I went for it.
okay, cool. I can see
Yeah.
that. I mean, Canada's quite
Yeah.
a woody place, a lot of trees and
Yes,
such. So
I'm a very
yeah,
outdoorsy kind of guy, so.
nice. Yeah, I think most Canadians I've met are.
Yeah, especially around here, like where I live, it's very rural. I grew up very rural. I grew up like on a mountain, kind of like no neighbors sort of deal. So your whole life is just like outside playing in the woods sort of stuff. So definitely a good place to do that in the old Canada land. Lots of canoeing, lots of
Oof.
dirt biking, that kind of stuff.
Sounds exciting. Sounds like a
So,
life to live.
so when did you start playing Dota then? If you lived in the
Mhm.
middle of nowhere,
Exactly. I did not have my first PC game I played regularly. I'm pretty sure was RuneScape.
oh,
Before that, I was a pure console kid because I didn't have well, we had the internet eventually, but it was just dial up and it was terrible. Um, and so I just played console games all the time. My friends would come over every weekend, like because they loved coming out to my house, obviously, because they were kind of like from the town. But then we'd all come out to my place, just play like 4-player games all night, sort of a deal. So right up until I was about 12 or 13, it was just purely console. And then I tried a little bit of WoW because my friend was playing it somewhere around that time. Whenever WoW came out, didn't really like it. Played a hunter. I thought it was lame that the beast was doing all the work and not me, so I quit. I distinctly remember being annoyed by that. And then I started playing RuneScape for a bit. And so after that, I kind of went back to console, played a lot of Halo. Shout out to Halo Reach. I got like the little figurine back there.
Nice.
Halo 3 was really where it was at, but Reach was pretty cool. And then I didn't start playing Dota until my second year of university, I want to say. Sounds about right.
So who
Um,
introduced you to it? Did you have a friend at university that played it, or?
I played a lot of TF2. Really liked TF2, actually. That was probably the first PC game that I really got into. I had a lot of fun, basically just playing Medic all the time, some heavy. Pyro's also pretty good. But then
Pyro
my
life.
brother was playing some game with his friends, and he said, "Hey, Trent, if you come play this, you can get items, and you can sell them for TF2 items." I was like, "All right, let's go." So I literally started Dota to make TF2 items, and then I slowly, well, and by slowly I mean pretty much instantaneously, just became pretty obsessed with Dota. Dota was very different. I'd never played anything like Dota. Not even
very,
close.
very interesting. So, like, you got into Dota originally to make money for TF2 stuff, and then you ended up.
Yeah, just for some sweet TF2 skins. Yeah, basically. Because all my friends were like, 4 of my friends were playing. They needed a fifth, and they're like, "Yo, come play," and then you can just get TF2 items. Like, all right. But like, I'd never even heard of League of Legends. Maybe in passing, but I'd never seen it. I'd never downloaded or installed it. I'd never heard of obviously Han or Dota 1.
Nice. See, it's good
Yeah.
to finally get someone who's like came in it. All the other all the other pros, all the other like talent, they're all like, oh yeah, I was playing like Dota 0 before Dota 1 was even released. Like, oh, you guys,
Yeah,
you
no,
new bloods.
I did not have Warcraft. I think I might have had Diablo, and that was about it for PC games at the house. I had Spider-Man on a floppy disk. I remember that, but no Warcraft 3. So
No Warcraft 3. All right, and then so you kind of got into analyzing work. I mean, not gonna lie, I read on your Wikipedia. It said that you kind of started researching how Valve kind of like logged their statistics and sort of things, and then got into it kind of through that, and then joined High Ground TV. Like, what was that process?
yeah, yeah, I don't know who wrote that. It's fairly accurate.
Okay.
So for me, I started basically just playing a lot of Dota. And the thing that Dota drew me into, or like the reason why I felt so drawn to Dota, was that it was the closest thing I'd ever had to playing competitive sports in a video game. I'd never really experienced anything like that. Like I kind of got that in Halo because I used to play with like a full on stack, and we'd constantly have the same like either 5 or 8 people ever like playing big team battle. We were kind of like the revered like big team battle. Like there's only one other stack that could like give us a good shot, and other than that, we just like slammed everybody. I basically failed like a full semester of college just playing Halo way too much. So that was my life. And I really liked that because it did give me that like competitive edge kind of a deal where like everyone had this like crazy coordination and be like, we had like the sniper guy, we had like the banshee guy, all that kind of stuff. Um, and so I used to play a lot of basketball in high school and thoroughly enjoyed that. That was like a big part of my life, just playing it constantly, and captaining the team and stuff and being the point guard. So I really liked having that full control and like running all the plays and kind of dictating everything that happened on the court. And so once you move to video games, it's not really like that anymore. But then suddenly I started playing this Dota game, and I'm like, oh shit, I can definitely use some of my old skills here. And was pretty instantly drawn to like playing support or off lane, because off lane was kind of the same thing when I first started playing, where you were mostly the dictator back then because you played like Tidehunter and stuff. Um, so that's what drew me into Dota in the first place. And then, like any sort of a competitive sport or anything, I wanted to get better. And so to get better, I thought, well, I should watch the pros play. And then I started watching the pros play, and then I started noticing all these numbers that you could just like find. And I found out about that Dota, and I thought it was incredible. And I was like, wow, could you like compare why this guy's better, or like, because like, it wasn't enough for me to watch them play because I didn't understand it well enough, right? Because I was shit. But I thought if I could take the numbers and then try and cross-reference that and be like, okay, if I see that this guy does 10,000 more damage on average than other people on TA, I should watch his game and try and figure out why he's so much better. And I'd start noticing things like, oh, he's like being way better enabled by this guy because every time this guy plays TA, he's got this guy giving him like Abaddon shields or something every game, those sort of deals. So I was basically just trying to use the stats as a way of bettering my own gameplay while also enjoying the pro scene because I found it very enjoyable to watch.
Cool.
I think you're the first person I've heard ever talk about Dota in the sense that they haven't tried to learn it in a very like linear, normal way, where they slowly get better and better and better, and they like try to get better. But you've gone in like all in on the stats straight away, rather like instantly, to try and get better.
Well, I was more familiar with that. I felt like I felt like it just looked like a lot of info. I mean, I definitely watched a lot of guides and stuff too on YouTube, but this was just another resource, I guess, where I wanted to know like, because to me it wasn't enough to just be like, okay, this guy's playing TA, I should watch him. I wanted to make sure like, okay, is this actually like, is this guy good at TA? Like, I don't know. Like, so I guess I quickly became pretty obsessed with like the pro scene in general. Like I remember I would buy the tickets in Dota and I would just watch the whole season, which is something that I don't think maybe people do that now. But like I bought the Premier League season 5 or whichever one it was that had the little dragon courier thing, Wormelian or whatever courier, and Blaze I think solo cast like 99% of it, and I would just go home after my classes and I would just watch the games like when I was done all my schoolwork and stuff, and or not done it sometimes. I just watched through a whole season of Dota. I don't
Nice,
know.
cool. Some people are out there grinding MMR, and Trent's just out there grinding replays.
Yeah,
Just
pretty much.
join
That's
the
pretty much still
projects.
what happens.
Yeah. Slightly different capacity and perhaps. So, how did that then lead on to you kind of joining High Ground TV and finding your feet in the kind of analytical
Yeah.
statistician world?
Well, I became pretty familiar with that Dota just because of using it for my own reasons. And so I was watching American Dota 2 League, and at the time, that Phage guy, Brian, was someone who was a part of High Ground TV. Basically, he was a pretty nerdy math guy kind of deal. So he knew a fair bit about stats, and he was doing essentially like trivia and stuff in the chat. And I was just answering a lot of the trivia questions because I would just know it from that Dota sort of deals. And he just thought it was funny, and then he was wondering if I'd be interested in ever doing like stat pop-ups because you could tell that I knew how to use that Dota. So he was like, "Oh, well, you could actually like put interesting information about this player versus this player or this hero versus this hero up in the middle of games." And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm watching the games anyway. Sure, that'd be cool to be a part of the broadcast." I'd be lying though if I said I didn't. I definitely originally did it to try and get into casting because I saw it as an instant avenue into connections to move towards casting because I thought it was cool. I never thought I'd get paid to cast. I just wanted to cast. So I thought just getting to know people in the broadcasting thing would be a good way to start.
Cool. All right. So, when did you get your first gig? It was like WSG, right?
First gig.
Like first LAN, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, first land. I think it probably was WESG. Pretty sure that's correct. And that was because I had just flown to TI for the first time, which was pretty neat.
Cool.
And met up with Lyrical there, and spent. Is that the whole TI I spent with Moon? Yeah. Obviously, I spent a lot with Moonduck because I was at the Moonduck house and everything. Yeah, that was a really good TI. So I was a part of Moonduck at that time, but I hadn't actually done a LAN.
All right.
So yeah, so that is correct.
Cool.
And the way that happened was that it was like after TI, or maybe while we were still at TI. I can't really remember. I just got a DM on Twitter from Trent, who's a part of Twitch, and I think James was in the thread too, actually. And he was just like, "Hello, we were looking for casters. We thought you guys would be good for this." And Lyrical and I were like, "Yes, we would like to go to Dubai, please. That sounds awesome." That was
excuse.
unbelievable. I that was probably, I kind of wish that that wasn't my first land because I was just so, I was thinking a lot about the Dota. I definitely didn't get too obsessed with it. I still went around and I traveled and everything, and I took in the sites while I was there as much as I could. But I was definitely a little bit nervous in that sense. Whereas now, if I got invited to Dubai, I would just be like trying to squeeze every little ounce of Dubai that I could while I was there. But I definitely got around. I had an extra day on the front end and at the end of it too. So I got to see the Burj Khalifa. I went to like some of those crazy malls with like the ski hill and the skating rink indoors and this aquarium that's like 4 stories tall in the middle of the mall. And you're just like, where am I? Like, what is this place? There's people walking around with gold-plated iPhones. There's children who I can see the jewelry on their wrists that is like more than my net worth. It really was something to behold.
Wow, that's kind of like a kind of mind-blowing first LAN, right? Like, wow, there's a lot of money in Dota, huh?
Yeah, yeah, Beast was there. That was funny. And actually, some of those players are starting to pop up too. There were a lot of very good Jordanian players there. I know a lot of them knew Yapsor actually. At the time, I remember them all being very excited that he was starting to get an opportunity to play in some of those like bigger teams and stuff, and they all knew Miracle too. So it was a very
Oh,
good time,
cool.
no doubt.
Cool. How do you think you did on that like kind of first line experience? Like, were you super nervous and kind of like?
Oh God, I don't even know. It's probably terrible. I don't know. Who really knows? The only audience was the players, so it was pretty relaxed. I don't remember being very nervous because I knew there wasn't very high viewership because I knew it was WSG.
Hmm.
And that's just, it's not a major or something, right? It's nothing too crazy. It was a very good event to get your feet wet for sure. Can't really ask for much better. Like the crowd was still, they were loud stuff because it was fellow players and there were a couple other games there. So there was still like some cheering and everything, but it was, I mean, we're talking some of the games had like literally 15 people sitting there.
Big team by one guy's like, yay!
Yeah, exactly.
Dota.
It was pretty perfect, yeah. And obviously, doing it with Gabe was really good too because we were both kind of in the same situation, so we bounced off each other pretty well like that.
Nice, nice. Gabe meaning, of course, Trent. Sorry, Lyrical and not
Yes,
the big man himself. Just for clarification,
yes.
in case there is a confusion.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
All right. So then, like, was Kiev then the next big step for you through that? Because obviously you did a lot of stuff with Moonduck, a lot of casting throughout kind of like 2016 towards 2017, right?
Yeah. To be honest, the lands have definitely been very back heavy. Like I feel like I've only just even started on so much of like the lands and travel and stuff like that. I think Kiev, I was just online for that, unless I'm crazy. But I was a part of it, which was pretty cool because that was like the first time I did like any sort of major casting. So it was still actually pretty big deal to me. And then I don't, jeez, my timeline's so hazy on all these lands.
I got it. Manila Masters after that.
Oh, that was a big one. That was definitely, I think a lot of people call that my breakout. Probably was my breakout, where I did like a lot of paneling. It was actually a big event. It was an insane crowd. These people were absolutely wild. My God, they were so loud.
Oh yeah, Manila, probably.
Yeah, yeah. Very smart.
Yes.
My goodness, your skills of deduction are worthy of an Englishman. That is for
sure.
Thank you,
sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I got you.
Is it? I feel like I hear so much about all these like Southeast Asia crowds. Are they really like a big step up from?
Yeah, Manila was. I can't even describe. It was unbelievable. Like I'd heard the same stuff about the Manila Major, and then so when I'm coming to the Manila Masters, I was like, okay, well this will be a little smaller than the Manila Major, but it really was just like so loud in the arena. Like everyone's just like, it sounds like they're screaming at the top of their lungs, but it's not even just that. It's not the pure noise. It's the fact that when the games end at the end of the day and you come outside, they're just all there. There's like 400 people like lining up next to where the players are getting into the shuttles and going off and the town are going off. And they're just like standing behind barricades, like 4 rows deep of people just standing there to watch you come out, and they all just cheer as people come out. And then people were like running down the road and giving high fives to this massive row of people. Like no one else does that. They are just unbelievably passionate about it.
Were they like giving you attention as well?
Yeah, I mean, they knew I was just some caster guy, so they would yell. They didn't know my name. I had a signing session. That was pretty cool. I think I think it was me and who was it? Was it Grant? It might have been Grant and I who had a signing session together. I can't even remember.
Sounds like a fantastic
But all I remember is that not many people showed up. And then I saw this giant line. I was like, oh my God, who are all these people? Then it was like Navi next, or some team. I can't remember who it was. I'm guessing Navi probably weren't there. But no, it was a massive event for me for sure. That was where I finally felt like really comfortable. Didn't feel super nervous, even though the crowd was kind of crazy and stuff. I didn't have to cast. Maybe that also kind of helped. I did some casting before it went to the actual main stage. But then I was just paneling throughout all of the main stage, which was a good way to get kind of more familiar with a lot of my coworkers. Like I worked with Lumi, and Cap was the host for that event, which was kind of cool.
All right, nice. Yeah, it sounds pretty fun. So like, yes. Do you reckon like paneling's easier than casting then?
I've gone back and forth on that. I think paneling is paneling would be, I think it's less nervous, at least for me, because I don't know. There's like, you can't really screw up a panel. You're just time filled. Like, if you screw up a panel, if anything, that's comedy. So, you're trying not to be boring is the most important thing, and some panels certainly struggle with that. There's no doubt. Um, I think it can be easier in the sense of like there's no real pressure on you, so that's why I mean it was easier for that kind of event. But in terms of actually like working it, I would say casting's a lot easier because casting you're taking something that's in front of you and you're basically just augmenting it and making it better. And when you're paneling, you have nothing. Like for the vast majority of panels, Dota is not a great esports when it comes to like even having replays. Like we don't even show replays of their panel. We just show 4 people standing there and a blank desk, and you got to work with that. Which, if you're trying to have a good panel, is way harder than being a good caster, I would say. But casting has these other elements that are in there where it's like you have to be measuring the emotion of the crowd, and you have to be matching the energy, and you can't screw up with those really crucial moments. You're trying to just like kind of keep track of it in the game, make sure you don't make some ridiculous mistakes. So there's higher stakes when it comes to casting, but I would say that it's a little bit easier because paneling is, my God, you are just, I don't know, you're doing alchemy or something. This blank space just somehow has to become gold and entertainment for people while people get ready in the booth.
So, oh, sorry, go on, mate.
You seem like quite a chatty guy, though. I can imagine that's quite like your forte thing when you get on the panel, though. You just get to chat to people and just have a good time.
Yeah, there's definitely a reason why I'm there, even though I'm not, guys, I gotta let you know a secret. I'm not 9K MMR. I don't even play solo queue, but they still let me on the TI panel. I know, believe it or not.
Juicy bits coming out in the podcast
tell you.
today. Huge.
So I think that's definitely my main draw, is that I know enough about the game not to be a total idiot. And obviously I study replays a lot, like my whole life kind of deal. If I'm not looking after baby. So I can kind of help draw that kind of stuff out, I think, out of like pro players. Like I really enjoyed working with March. I thought he had a lot of interesting tidbits in there that kind of came out on the panels.
Cool. So do you think that the panel, like TI panels, were a little bit different to previous years? I think they've been heading this way a little for a while now, where they're kind of stopping the entertainment value on the panel and moving it more to the content side of things.
Yeah.
And then leaving the panel for pure analyst stuff, right? Is that something which you like?
I think we're honing in on the right area. I think more and more content is definitely good because I think that comes back to the idea of just like what a panel has. Like if a panel has well-prepared replays and everyone I hate let me give a perfect example, I guess, in terms of like how I think the ideal sort of panel works. Is that you watch, I mean, you guys watch that soccer thing, right? That football, as they call it, or hockey panels.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Banging. Yeah.
The red one.
So when you come back, let's say we're in between, we're in the intermission during a hockey game, and you're watching Hockey Night in Canada, like I know you boys do, and you see Ron McLean there, and he's got the boys, and what happens when the panel starts? Ron does his little introduction, and then he looks over to one of the panelists, and he says some sort of a leading sentence, and it's like magic. Somehow that guy has 6 replays where he has what he's going to say about every little replay, all formulated into a nice paragraph where he's basically doing like a mini thesis, right? Where he is taking an element of the game, he's broken it down, he's thought he's found something very interesting for the viewers, and he's going to use these highlights to put that forward. And then Ron's going to go, wow, that was great, Nick. Hey, how about you, Bob? And then Bob does the same thing. And then he goes, wow, thanks, Bob. And he goes to the third guy, and they have something else. And then there's a little bit of like back and forth all throughout that. Then there's kind of like a broader question at the end, and boom, that's the end of your intermission. We're close to that. We are slowly getting there. We need to work in the media pieces with the panelists. Right now, we have great media pieces, but the panelists, it's like, awesome, hilarious content piece. Back to boring panel with nothing happening. Awesome media content pieces. Boring panel with nothing happening. And then we just need to like give the panel something to work with. I don't know if we need like a prop trunk. That's probably what I'm going to do with the next LAN. That might be the solution that we're looking for.
I just love the idea of all of these like panelists and ex-pros talking like really serious Dota with just like a banana hat on, or like...
That would probably be an improvement.
Wow. Alrighty. Jeez. So do you think all the tournaments should be doing this, or is this just like the high production ones? Do you think like the smaller ones should be sticking to just like, because they can't really afford like the media side of things, right?
Yeah, that's hard. But like the other thing about content is that like Like that stuff that Slacks does, I mean, some of it's unbelievable, right? Like, I mean, Shiver was down in South America, Slacks is in Japan. That's what made those the most memorable content pieces that were at TI. After that, you have to be very creative. So I think hiring people like Malstrix, I know, for example, he has worked on a lot of that content with Slacks. It's very funny to watch those two work. Like at Bucharest, they're sitting there trying to come up with these ideas, and we're all just kind of like in between games, casting, hanging out with them, and they're just like, okay, so like, what if all right, Dark Willow, new hero. All right. What if we took the sofa cushions and we arranged all the couches, and then they have to like go through blindfolded, and it's the Bramble Maze, and like their teammates are throwing cushions at them, and we're just looking at them like, "Are you serious?"
Can I
And
just say,
Malstrix, he thinks it's the best idea ever, and Slacks is like, "This is the worst idea I've ever heard in my life." And of course, within an hour, they're filming it. Like, you need to just kind of go for stuff sometimes if you're gonna make that sort of content piece. You can't just sit around and be like, but it's not perfect. So I think that's one thing that Malstrix is very good at.
when
Yeah.
Bulba ran through that maze, that might be one of my favorites. One of my most favorite things I've ever watched in Dota content ever. Everybody's just laughing at him. It was
the behind the scenes on some of those. My God, there were some real. Some people got absolutely smoked in the face with pillows. What was he? And then Slacks kept doing, like, you're sitting in the room while they're filming this, and we're all trying to watch the game on the screen, and just over and over you hear Slacks going, "Tiny coming in," and then he's just like practicing his voice and hitting these poor players. Oh my
They didn't
God.
sign up for this. They just came here to play some Dotes.
Yeah.
So just,
Oh.
have you got any like really good memories of like just kind of behind the scenes stuff, land some funny stories which have happened?
Oh. The old lands. I don't know. Lands are what is it? What happens at lands? I will say personally, I have been mostly working on my Smash game ever since the what was that, the hub, where they decided that to fill some time we all play Smash.
Oh.
And I had played Smash, like I used to play a lot as a kid, obviously, but I'd never actually played real. Like I had learned how to wave dash for fun on an emulator, and that was the furthest I had gotten. I'd never even played anyone else while wave dashing. So that's pretty much the expanse of my melee knowledge. So, played a little bit, got whooped, and then I was like, oh god damn it, I'm gonna get good at Smash. So at TI it was like me, Hopid, Wepez, Scriff, Lumi, Lyrical playing Lost Smash. That was pretty good. I do like the Smash Fiend sessions. What else happens behind the scenes? OD Pixel just constantly goes, "Hey Trent, you wanna play a game?" Just over and over. That's the life of Owen. "Grant, you wanna play a game?" And he's just got his little laptop and his PlayStation controllers, and he's he's a man of my kind, though. I love all those kind of indie games. So he'll be like, "Trent, have you ever played this?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, let's do it." And so we'll just do that for half an hour, enjoy that kind of stuff.
Nice. Burn some time.
Yeah. Winter is the best behind the scenes with his
really?
screaming, but I think we kind of already I went through that on the TI panel a little bit, but my God, that guy is hilarious. He sounds like Bulldog casting a game. Like he's just screaming about everything the entire time. I wish the next time Winter's gonna start bringing that up. I can feel it.
Winter play-by-play?
Yeah, that's what we need.
Cool, I'm ready. I don't care if I'm out of a job for that. That sounds totally worth it. So
do you have like a favorite game you've casted though ever, or like a special game in your memory that? Because I know some people don't, but I know some people like really have something that stands out to them.
Not specifically. I think my favorite clip of all time is definitely the DJ 360. That I can't even watch that clap without crying and laugh, or that clip without crying and laughter. Like I have it bookmarked, and some days I'll just like go watch it because it just slays me inside. Because I just think the reaction from Mott and me is so funny, and we just say the exact same time. It sounds like it was coordinated or some shit. That was pretty good. My other memories, I don't know. My memories are pretty odd in terms of like the games. Like sometimes, I remember the smaller games. I think more than any of the larger ones. Like I couldn't tell you anything about the lower bracket finals right now off the top of my head. Right now, with 2 seconds notice, I couldn't tell you anything that happened in those lower bracket finals. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I know it wasn't very exciting, and we didn't get our grand final rematch we wanted with EG and OG. I think they lost a Drow game, maybe. Like, I don't think those things kind of tend to stick, but I do remember the first time I was casting with Zyori when he randomly asked me to come cast some random Southeast Asian thing which I then blew off work. So I had this really shitty job where I was, I think at the time, was I selling Norton then? I think I was selling Norton antivirus. It was either that or I was going to go door to door for charities. It was one or the other.
Very
One is
tempting options.
significantly worse than the other. But anyway, I moved around my schedule just so that I could run home. I was like at the bus stop about to go do something for that, and I just left. I ran home because I saw the message on my phone asking if I could come help him out. And I was like, this looks like a good opportunity because he's part of that Moonduck crew. So I went and I got my basement and fired up the computer, joined him for the cast. And I called a last pick safe lane Legion commander from Mushi at a time when, well, no one picked Legion commander and still no one does that. And I was like, man, that would be a really good pick right here. And then it just happened. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, I still got it. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. That was, and I could tell he was genuinely like, what the fuck? How the like?
Who is this man?
Yeah, he definitely was impressed. So that certainly helped my my rep with the Moonduckers. And then that's, of course, from there, just got invited to elimination mode, which I did online with them as well.
From that comment alone.
Basically, yeah. That was my auto invite right there. And then that was how the whole Moonduck thing kind of got started.
Nice.
But most memorable moments, that I feel like it is more so those kind of smaller things that stick out to me. I think when you're casting a game, because I watch a lot of replays, right? Like that's a big part of like how I understand Dota. It's so different than when you're casting. Like when you're casting a game, you're supposed to be in that moment. You're supposed to be emotionally invested, like with kind of the crowd and with the players, and you have to be thinking about it from like each team's perspective and how they're viewing the game right now versus how they like what they think their opponent thinks about the game and what their opponent thinks they should be doing at this moment. And so with all of that firing, I feel like it's kind of a like I can't just press pause, right, when I'm casting. And when I'm watching replays, my God, it takes me forever to watch a replay some days because if I think it's really interesting, I'm going to watch the first 10 minutes of that game from every player's perspective. And then I build, like before I move on to the 11th, 12th, 15th minute, that's what I'll do. I'll watch the whole laning stage from all 10 perspectives because then that really helps you get a good idea as to like what they were looking at and how they felt their vision was and stuff like that. And so I find those moments to be more memorable because it's like it's like such a bigger framework of the actual game than just casting. Like casting to me is more about that moment and just making sure that that product that you're putting out is enjoyable and exciting, and I guess correct. If that makes sense. Like you don't want to be saying some dumb shit, but it's not as memorable in the same way as like the gameplay is, if that makes sense. Like to that, I really like the minutia details.
I get you. You're kind of like experiencing your own version of the game because you actually like, when you play your own game of Dota, right? Like you experience your full story because you're from your perspective, you're the carry or the support or whatever. You're doing these cool things, you're making these small plays, and that'll never get picked up by just the caster who's looking for the best moments, the biggest details, right? So then when you go through and look at each person individually, then you kind of build it all up. I get what you're putting down. I can buy it.
All right, good.
Telling the truth.
As long as I sold something, that's fine.
Cool.
Didn't sell much Norton. Tell you that much.
I know what I'm doing with my time tonight.
Not the best salesman.
No. What?
Well, I just couldn't help. I mean, it was all inbound. I wasn't some predator preying on the elderly. I only sold what people wanted, thankfully. But yeah, the moral compass got in the way a lot of the time. I couldn't upsell them to shit they didn't need. And my supervisors were just like, well, why didn't you give them this? They asked for this. And I said, well, can you genuinely say that they needed that? And they say, well, I mean, it gives them better protection. And I was like, does it though? So yeah, I was not a good salesman.
So what would you be doing now if you didn't get into casting at all? What would be like your job at the moment?
Well, hopefully something with my actual degree, which is geography. A lot of the work in terms of geography would have required me to actually not require to move, but a lot of what I did was either transportation-based stuff and logistics. So with like shipping containers and just shipping in general. So there's some of that involved because I live in a harbor port. So maybe some work in that. I also studied quite a bit on like cultural stuff. So for like museums and stuff, I volunteer at the museum and just like ideas about like how a city forms and how a city grows and why cities are where they are, that sort of stuff. Like it's called cultural geography or sometimes historical geography, basically like social geography about people versus like more of the physical geography about mountains and that kind of stuff. That wasn't really my forte. Um, and then I did planning. So like I would have likely had to move out west and do planning for suburbs for like the oil boom kind of a deal because that's what a lot of my classmates did.
Right. Okay. Getting in
No.
on that oil money.
Yeah, the oil money, or I always wanted to work in like parks and stuff too, which was another reason why I did geography. So it was kind of relevant for like land forest management and stuff like that too. So
Yeah.
I always
Well,
thought a job in the outdoors would be nice.
my second home. Then I used to. I lived in Banff for like 8 years in Canada. That was
What?
a dream.
Really?
Yeah. Sorry, 8 years,
Wow.
8 months. Not 8 years. Yeah.
Okay, 8 years. I was like, you're like a mountain man at that point. Jesus. Like, my
I mean,
wife
it felt like
loves
8 years.
Banff.
Yeah.
That is her. That's her dream vacation. So
Yeah, if anybody doesn't know what Banff is, then get yourself on Google and just I don't know, just Google Banff and go flick to images, and you'll have your
yeah,
mind
and then
blown.
just start setting it as all your desktop backgrounds and stuff, and
Yeah,
you'll have a happier life.
yeah. I
pretty
have like
much.
8 friends who became like famous Instagram photographers after going out there because like it's just so easy to do. You take a picture of like a tree and it looks amazing because it's a Banff tree. It's not a regular
Yeah.
tree. It's
no,
a dream.
No.
Anyway,
Yeah, it is gorgeous.
we do need to get to the quiz, but before then, I just want to ask you
Oh,
two very important questions.
Okay.
With baby Clifford, you're
Mhm.
you're a gorgeous baby.
Mhm.
What's the deal? Are you gonna treat Dota like something that you want them to get into, or is it gonna be like the crystal meth of your family, where you just like do not do Dota? If I find
It's
Dota in your
interesting.
room,
It's interesting because my wife knows absolutely nothing about Dota. I gave her my GameCube, and when we first started dating, I took the old GameCube from my house and I took it to her house and I put Wind Waker in it and I said, "Play this." She'd never played a video game before, like short of like literally picking up someone's controller and playing like Mario for 10 minutes. That's pretty much all she'd ever done. So she beat Wind Waker. I was pretty impressed. First time video game, she did well. And that was, I think, the last time she played a video game. So that was like 5 or 6 years ago. She's just, I don't know, she doesn't find them very interesting. I guess she sees the appeal to some people, but for her, I don't know, it's not her thing. So she knows Chronosphere and Echo Slam. That's about it. She knows Silencer. She's big on the Silencer. She keeps hearing about Silencer lately when I'm listening to games like in the living room or something, because he's all over the place. But currently, Clifford is on a no screen time life for now. As time moves on, she's pretty against the idea of the Game Boy, but I'm obviously very for the idea of the Game Boy. So somewhere around that 6, 7, 8, maybe he'll just magically wake up with a Game Boy. We'll find out. I think you can't really deny children technology because then it's going to make them outcasts and weird because every child, like we actually live across from an elementary school now in our new house. So I see these kids like walking by in the morning when I get up. I'm like taking Clifford out to like get him his food and stuff. And I just see these kids walking down the street with these humongous smartphones. They're the size of their face. And I'm just like, first off, I don't think I trust my child with a phone that huge. That's like an S8 or something. That looks like it's like $800. What are you doing? But I don't think you can like fully ignore your child's need for technology or they're going to be a weirdo. So he'll have a little bit of screen time. As for Dota, I'm sure Dota will definitely still be around in some capacity at that point. So we'll see. Maybe I'll let him, try the last hit tutorial or something.
He'll be like playing his newfangled game, and you'll just be there like, back in my day, we all played Dota too. Let me show you that. Like, no, Granddad, it's really old now.
Put down Fortnite 7.
Yeah.
Get over here and play some Dota.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Second question.
Okay.
If you were a hero, what would your ultimate be?
Oh.
Because we had Lizard last week, and I believe his ultimate was to spawn Pupan. Was it?
I was gonna say
his adorable dog.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense for him. Oh, this is.
I feel like it needs to have some sort of Canadian theme. I'm not sure what. But...
It would probably be something like, I've always been obsessed with kind of like vision. So if this counts for like, if I'm a Dota hero and like my ultimate, I feel like I've always wanted like a cartographer hero, because I also used to draw my own maps and stuff in school because I did like cartography courses because I was in geography. So that's a big part of it. So I always thought it'd be cool if there was like a cartographer hero and he was very vision based. So my ultimate would just give you full vision completely broken, that would be
The
my ulti.
whole map
Yeah.
revealed.
Or maybe a giant square, but something like that. Yeah.
Right. A geography-based hero then.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Thank
Yep.
God you never went to work for Valve.
It's not that broken. He'd just be really garbage the rest of his time. Come on, if someone's like, yeah, I'm gonna make a hero that silences everyone for 6 seconds,
Yeah.
globally. What do you mean? Like, there must be a range? No, there's no range. He just silences them all.
Through BKB
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very cool ultimate. All right then. My friend, are you prepped?
I am. I can be ready. Yeah.
You ready to go? Okay. Trent, are you ready?
I'm ready for the quiz.
Yeah. So this is the quiz. How would you fancy earning yourself a mechanical keyboard from Caps Unlocked?
Me or someone else?
No, you.
Me?
You, yeah.
Oh, wait, whoa, there's a quiz? Whoa,
Yeah,
okay,
all
hold
right.
up. I thought the quiz was people asking me questions. All right, I'm ready.
Oh, that's later. We got a quiz. It's going to be a minute of quick-fire questions served to you gently or quickly, whatever you feel, whatever pace you're going at, by Mr. Mofarah. I warn you, Lizard didn't do so well. He only managed 3 questions in 1 minute.
Okay, all right.
I'll be honest.
And-
Some of these sound pretty hard, but you're gonna go with it anyway. All right, we're just gonna wing it.
All right, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Ready to go. All right. Mofarah, you ready?
Are you gonna count me in?
Yeah, I'll count you on, dude. Don't worry.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, so who's the only player to go to every TI but has never won?
Oh, shit. FY?
No, DDC. Okay.
Damn it, I
According
definitely
to-
do that.
According to DotA Unlocked, name any hero from the bottom 5 that has the lowest win rate percent across all pubs.
Oh, Dazzle?
No, that's
Oh,
not.
damn
not
it.
one of them.
I could have said Io.
All right. Next one. Are you ready?
Damn,
True or false? There's an organisation that has taken part in every single TI to date.
Ooh, false.
False. That's correct. Yeah. What is the only current item to give you extra night vision at the moment in Dota?
Moonshard.
Moonshard. Yeah. Well done. How much HP does Fairy Fire restore?
45?
No, 85. After
That's
how
the
many?
cost.
After how many minutes can you buy raindrops?
3?
5
Yeah.
seconds
Well
left.
done. How many spells can Invoker invoke?
2.
No.
And we
Oh,
are
oh,
done.
no. Okay.
It's just.
Alrighty. Well, this is
Thought you meant-
exciting,
I
actually.
thought you meant at a time. Please don't hate me, everyone.
It's okay. It's alright. It's tough questions, right? Like Mofarah, he's not a gentle quizmaster.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm very
gonna go
disappointed
hard.
I didn't get DDC. I was like, I know it's someone Chinese, but I can't think of it. I'm just gonna say the first one that's short because I know it's short. Damn you, FY. That's okay. It's fine.
Alright then. So, how many do you think you got?
Did I get 3?
You got 3. Yeah, exactly. So,
Nailed them.
that means it all comes down to the tiebreaker between you and Lizard. So, the tiebreaker. I'll let Mofarah explain, actually.
Okay, so last week, basically, you have 30 seconds now to name as many of one topic as you can. Okay. So for
Okay.
Lizard last week, what did we do? We said name as many
Uh,
heroes with stuns or something, I think it was.
Yep.
And so your one is, I'm going to say it in a second, and you have to name as many as you can.
Hold
okay?
on. It's 30 seconds, right?
30 seconds, yeah.
Alright. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so name as many ultimates as you can. Go.
Echo Slam, Freezing Field, Laguna Blade, Finger of Death. Why is it so hard? Weave, Time Lapse, you're just like thinking of heroes,
10
and
seconds.
it's not working. Nature's Wrath.
3, 2, 1. You're out of
God.
time, Mr. Trent Pack.
Jesus.
Joe, this is my
everybody-
favourite
God, why
part.
didn't I just go into? Oh God, that's so hard because you think it would be so easy, and you're looking at me like, what an idiot. But in my head, I start thinking of heroes, and I think of ABBA, and I'm just like, what's ABBA's ultimate? And right now, I tried to go alphabetically, and I don't know what his ultimate is. It's borrowed time. Of course, it's borrowed time, but I didn't know that. Top of
Imagine
my
on the
head.
moment. Yeah, the pressure. It gets you.
God.
All right, Mo.
I'm gonna
How
guess he
many
got more.
did Lizard get last time?
I think he got. Lizard got. I think Lizard got 4 or 5. I'm not sure though. I'll have to go back
Yeah.
and watch it.
Have it written down.
No, I don't have it written down, unfortunately.
Okay,
I'm
well,
not
that takes a lot of
I'm
the
not that
drama out of
prepared.
this. But Trent, you
I'm-
scored
I'm-
6, which I
I-
think
yeah,
is higher than
6.
Lizard's. So
Trent
does
definitely got more.
put you
That's-
in the lead for now.
God, that's hard to believe with how bad that was. Jesus. There's so many here. Well, here's the thing. I actually had Dota Buff open, and then when the quiz was started, I was like, oh, I gotta close that because I don't want to cheat. It's a good thing because if I had this hero page open, that would have been way easier. God damn. Oh, I could have said think about all these ultimates. There's like Ravage. Ugh. I should have started thinking of team fights. That would have made it way easier.
I thought you were going to say Global Silence after all the silence and stuff. It didn't even come out. Where's it been?
I also said some just plain wrong too, so that was good. But anyway.
All right, Trent. Well, we are going to jump across to a quick break now, about 2 or 3 minutes or so. Next, we're going to be asking, well, you guys are actually going to be asking the questions. If you have any questions for Mr. Trent himself, then do join the Discord. It will be put in the chat, and you can jump on there, go to the questions channel, type out your question, and then you can come onto the show and chat to us in voice, in the person, and ask Trent your questions. And yeah, we'll be back shortly after that, and we'll be joining you. Hello and welcome back to the Caps Unlocked, DotA Unlocked podcast. I'm Nomad, he's Mofarah, and we are here with the lovely Trent Pax and Mr. B Cop. I haven't really heard of this name before, but random user coming online. How's it going, dude?
It's going well. I'm doing 8 things at once right now. About
Nice.
to be asking questions, playing Rainbow Six, watching the podcast, searching for enemies, doing everything I can at the moment.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Sensory
A true
overload.
multitasker. All right then. So, what is your question?
All right, Trent. It's a multifaceted question here for you.
Facet away.
The questions really have nothing to do with each other, but what's your favorite Dota region to watch, qualifier wise? What's your favorite Halo 3 map? And why the Leafs?
3 questions. in one.
Favorite region to watch qualifiers in? Probably Southeast Asia overall. You have to go with. I feel like I just know a lot of the players at this point. I actually really like the time that it's on because it's on at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. my time. And I kind of get up now early anyway for the baby, so it ends up being a pretty good time for me for casting and stuff. And then favorite Halo 3 map. Either whatever the big team battle one was that was the giant sand pyramid. I had a good time on that map. That was a pretty fun one. The remake of Gulch, Blood Gulch, that was in
Ooh.
Halo 3 was also good. And then Guardian was also good.
Yeah,
But they're all
Guardian's
3
definitely
different
good.
for their own ways. Am I supposed to pick one? I'll go with the remake of Blood Gulch that was in Halo 3. I forget what it was
I
called.
could allow it.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good.
Valkyrie was a good map, and as was
Ah.
Guardian was actually my favorite map. So when you
Yeah,
named
Guardian
that
was
out-
definitely legit for like 2v2s and stuff, or just even smaller scale 1v1s. Very good.
We're being
was
derailed. This is a Dota podcast, not a Halo podcast. And why the Leafs?
Oh, why the Leafs? My favorite color was blue when I was a child, and so I picked the blue team. I had a little hockey game that, like the little like rod hockey, right, with like the little tiny hockey games that had just the little wire sticks that you moved all the players and you move them around. And one of them was the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the other team was I think it was actually the Red Wings. And my brother was ended up being a Red Wings fan, and I was a Maple Leafs fan. So yeah.
Cool. Is that all of your question needs satisfied, Mr. Ben? I mean, Beak Up. I don't know your name.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I've got.
All right. Good luck in your Rainbow Six.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on. All right. Next up, we got Mr. Dragon Drop. Dragon Drop, what is your question, my dude?
Hi guys, my name's Dragon Drop, but my real name is Jakiro, so you can call me that as well. I'm a huge fan of our big anime guy Trent, so I always wanted to ask you. Actually, serious question. So, is it difficult to adjust to like different casting pairs or to different play-by-play casters? And what do you think are the elements that make it easier or harder to just build up synergy quickly or not so quickly?
I personally don't have any problem with it, but I make an effort. Like, I understand that I am a different caster when I'm with different casters, and I think that's pretty important. I've heard some co-casters say that it's very difficult, they find, to go with other casters and stuff, but to me, it's important that you just kind of just have a frame of reference in your mind as to like how it's going to be different. Like, I know when I cast with Lyrical, it's different than when I cast with Zyori. And it's different than when I cast with Mr. Dragon Drop. You guys might have heard of this other guy.
No idea
It's
who that
just
is.
like there's a different temperament, there's a different like pacing, and like, so like for example, Lyrical and I, obviously we practiced a lot leading up to TI. But one thing that that we specifically did was that there were going to be moments in the team fights where he was going to be dropping off, and I would come in for a little bit, and then like we kind of got like such a good rhythm for when that's going to happen. Whereas that's not really something that I would have with someone like OD Pixel or Zyori, because they tend to just kind of go all out, and I'm not expecting them to stop. Whereas we kind of got a nice little back and forth that was happening with Lyrical. So as long as I come into a cast with that in mind, then that's what's going to make it good.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting to me to see that from the others, to hear that that from the other perspective. Of course, I feel it too when I'm casting with different people. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. But yeah, I mean, I've always thought that you are one of the people that, alongside Syndrin and some others, that are just really good at just going in with anybody, right? You could, like, I have the feeling that you could be sitting next to random caster number 5, and you would still be upgrading the broadcast rather than bringing it down.
That's actually one of my goals. So I'm glad you think that too, because that's what I aim to do.
Right, very good. So, did Trent answer your question thoroughly and to the best of your? Please rate your question out of 5. Your answer to your question out of 5. Drag and drop.
5 out of 5, yeah.
5 out of 5. Great job. Great job. What a guest we have on. All right, thank you very much, Clement. I mean, Drag and Drop. Never heard of you before. For your question, and if you guys have any more questions, then do throw yourself over into the Discord and ask where you can come on air and talk to us. We're going to chat a little bit more with Trent in the meanwhile, though. Trent, I want to ask you about this. Have you got the stream open?
I do.
All right,
now.
I've just thrown up this picture. I want to talk you through the emotions in this bit. I think it's a WSG one. To me, it's kind of this look of almost disgust and do you know what's happening? Do you not think? Like,
I think I'm just casting the middle of a game and a little bit like I'm just reading the map. I think. I think that's all that's happening. I don't think I was grossed out by anything.
I said to Nomad that it looked like you were like 12 foot tall. You're like looking down on somebody.
Good.
You're like just menacingly.
Yeah. I like the reason I actually use that picture is I think it's hilarious. The little Ember Spirit guy in the bottom who you can just barely see.
Yeah, the little thinky emoji.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like how my ex would look at me. You know, I don't know. Maybe I mean, we're definitely reading way too much into this, but how your giant ex looks into you. All right.
Yeah, I just had no photos really, so I always used that one. So yeah.
All right. So with baby Trent coming along, do you call it? Do you call Clifford? Do you have a nickname, Trent, or like Trenton or anything like that?
No, he's just Cliff or Clifford. Either one. That's all I ever really call him. Yeah, nothing exciting.
How have you found it balancing your family life with Dota life now? Then is it?
For now, it's I say easy. For now, it's easier than it's going to be because my wife's still on maternity leave for the first year. So that makes it a huge difference because she just has she's able to do so much for him throughout the day and everything. So that definitely helps, especially when I'm going to be traveling and stuff. But my in-laws help a ton because we actually live very close to them. They're just down the street, actually. So they help all the time with babysitting and stuff. And it is very difficult. Like I have to, like, for example, this with Nahaz dropping out, it was 1:00 my time when I noticed I had the message saying, hey, could you come on this week instead of next week? Because we need you. And so my process immediately goes to, okay, so when is Clifford's nap time? Oh, it's actually pretty good. He's going to be napping during that time anyway. And then I check my wife. Like I have to go down a little bit early. Like, what can I do to help? So then I got to go like change his diaper early or go wash some diapers or it's definitely, it takes a toll on all of this like random wasted time that I used to have. Like I look back before the baby and I just think about how sometimes I'd sit in front of my computer and maybe turn on a random stream for 20 minutes and like barely even be enjoying the stream, but you're just kind of watching anyway to see where it goes. That is gone from my life. There's no more of that. Like my time is like when I have time, I'm like running downstairs with my computer to like do that quest that I've been thinking about since this morning in Monster Hunter because I want to do this funny build and it's going to be great. Or like, okay, Slacks is on right now. He's going to be done in like 20 minutes. If I go and do this right now with the baby, Slacks and I can play a game of Dota together. So I have to try and organize it so that I get things done. And so throughout maternity leave, I think I'm still going to be okay. After maternity leave, it's definitely going to be harder, but that's what daycare will be coming in for. So,
all right, cool. So all things in balance. Very good.
Yeah,
thanks, Clifford, for making this podcast possible. By the way,
that's true. Solid. Yes, sounds like the nap is still happening because he's like right above me right now.
All right, cool.
Better not shout really loudly then.
All right, so you talked a little bit about playing with Slacks. Is Slacks your favorite person to play Dota with? Do you have a favorite person to play Dota with?
He is my favorite and my least favorite at the same time. That was my next
question.
Yeah, because he is, God, he's so tilting. All right, the most classic Slacks thing to do would be like, so let's say Slacks picks his like techies and he's support. And he goes in the off lane. Support who never buys any awards or plays like a support ever and does anything support related. It just means I don't know what it means. Anyway, so he goes the off lane with somebody And let's say that the offlane's going fine, but they haven't killed the anti-mage 5 times at this point. The first thing Slacks will say is, "Hey guys, we ever gonna do anything with this anti-mage down here?" It could be like 10-0 for our team, and it's like you're winning. Like there's no doubt this game's over. And he'll be there, "Hey, anyone want to come gank this AM, guys? AM? I guess we don't want to gank the AM. Okay, no, we'll just lose. That's fine." Oh god. Oh, he does that so often. It just makes me want to like crawl through the monitor and crush him. It is, and then of course, what happens? So it's gonna be me and him and 3 randoms, and they hear Slacks. Oh, Slacks thinks we should go kill the anti-mage, guys. So then what do? They run down to this pointless lane they shouldn't be in. They 3-man dive into the tower for an anti-mage that blinks into the trees. They all die. And suddenly we're losing. Oh, and then the anti-mage, 45 minutes later, has a battle fury and a mantle. Slacks goes, well, thanks for coming to kill that AM, guys. Wish we'd slowed him down or something. That would have been great. Yep, thanks. It's just like, oh god, I just, ugh. But at the same time, of course, Slacks is very enjoyable to play with because he always wants to pick these like ridiculous bullies at the start of the game, like his Undyings or his Techies, and I'll just pick like Venomancer, and we'll just like run over the bottom lane and have a great time. So
That sounds everything except a great time. I'll be honest, like Veno Undying and stuff like that. Sounds awful. Why would you do that to people?
Because Veno is very. I love Venomancer. He's a fun hero. Don't get to play him enough. But yeah, so Slack's best and worst. Other great people to play with. Definitely Suns fan is very fun to play with. Mott, I miss Mott. He works so much. I've got to play with him lately, but the Mott rage is truly something to behold. Good God, it's also all my friends are the best and the worst people to play with. Yeah, so they get both categories.
So everybody's in the best and worst category.
Yeah,
sounds like an exciting life.
I have a question. So obviously you've done really well to go to TI8 this. How do you feel? Like, where's your ambition at the moment? Do you still have the same ambition that you did before? Do you still want to go further? Do you still want to try harder? Where are you at the moment?
To me, I genuinely don't think that I'm locked in for next TI. I feel like there's some people who could say that about themselves. So like I feel if I was OD Pixel, I could be like, yeah, I could probably do 3 tournaments this year and go to TI. And that's probably true for someone like OD. Obviously he's not going to because this is his job and he does that kind of stuff. But for me, I don't feel like I have cemented myself as some sort of a like immovable, like, oh, it's Trent, we need Trent. So I want to actually relish this. Supposedly I might be tier 1 now. I don't really know if that's true. I did lower bracket finals and I still don't think I'd call myself tier 1. I don't know what the fuck tiers are anyway, but to me tier 1 means that if an event's happening, you get asked. And so if there's events happening and I'm not getting asked, like I've never been at that point. Like I've always been kind of just like sitting here and pleading like, oh God, I hope I get invited to something pretty soon. And then after TI, suddenly there's messages coming in and I'm like, oh, this feels really good. So I'm going to definitely not think that I've achieved anything too monumental quite yet. I'm very excited just to ride what I currently have, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Gets you a good kind of mentality throughout the year as well. Kind of end goal. You're tier 1 to us though. Don't worry.
Thanks, man. You guys are tier 1 too. It's okay. We can all be tier 1 to me.
Yeah, we're all tier 1 in the DotA Unlocked podcast.
You guys can be not fun to play with. You guys can be just fun to play with.
Oh, sweet.
Oh,
you don't play with us, so I can't help but feel that's an empty sentiment there. You're just trying to butter us up.
We'll figure it out. We'll get it later.
You want the keyboards, don't you? We're on to you.
Hey man,
so
I'll have you know that my keyboard here, let me see if that pops up there. This wonderful keyboard was given to me. As I said, I started playing Dota with my brother and some of his friends way back to get TF2 items. He pulled that keyboard out from a drawer and gave it to me like 2 weeks later because it was his used keyboard from 2013.
Wow.
And I'm still using it. It works fine. It is not mechanical. From what I understand, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that's what we would have had to censor it otherwise.
Yeah, they don't.
They've thrown you off straight away.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's been. I don't even know what it is to be honest, but I love this thing. It's been great for me.
Yeah, I was trying to work out the logo when you held it up, and I was like, I got no idea. Coming up blank here.
It's got Cthulhu on it. So
Cthulhu.
there you go.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That's it. Sounds like some kind of mystery thing, like Jumanji, but in keyboard form. No, like,
How often has he cleaned it? It's actually clean. It's just all the paint's worn off. That are like it's just like raw.
rustic.
Yeah,
Rustic
it's
is what-
not a matter of clean or dirty. It's like it's lost all its matted finish
mystical.
because it's like over cleaned if anything.
That's
Maybe
quite the
it's time
keyboard
for
you
a
got.
new one.
Wow.
Oh, I have
Maybe,
one more.
maybe.
I have one more question I want to ask. You ready?
I'm so ready.
Is Midas mode happening again? I need the
Yes.
ins and outs. I am so excited to watch that tournament again. It was
Midas mode will 100% happen. There's no doubt. As to when and where, that is still being it's not revealed or anything yet. But Midas mode, I mean, come on, it was the best. Midas mode was amazing.
It was
So.
incredible.
Yeah.
Are we gonna have the same? Was it the John F. Kennedy Space Center which was sponsoring it?
Oh God, I hope
was
so. That was
incredible.
a cool sponsorship. That was pretty awesome. So
That was
hopefully something
incredible.
similar at the very least.
Remember you guys got the like the space food from that? Was it?
Oh my God, I forgot about that. The space ice cream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Was it delicious? Do you still have some? Did you?
Yeah, no, the
you
ice
take
cream
home
was actually
crepes?
completely legit. It was totally fine. In terms of sponsor food, the best one I've ever got to try, I don't even mean like best taste wise, but just best like what is happening was definitely pizza in a bag from the hub at the BTS place where they had all this pizza in a bag.
Oh, God.
What a
Oh, yeah.
hilarious sponsorship. Pizza flavored jerky. It was actually pretty good. It was not bad.
I love
I
how
remember-
kind of selling out on that was just kind of accepted. It was like, I mean,
Yeah.
go for
I
it.
remember Grant making some amazing speeches for that. That was that was quite something. Quite
Yeah,
something.
pizza in a bag, hit us up, man. I don't know. We're really trying for Totino's for Midas mode. I don't know. We've tweeted at them so many times. Either that or Haagen-Dazs. We'll see.
Oh,
I feel like
yeah.
these are very kind of. You got your own interests at heart when you're going for these sponsors.
Yeah, we want unlimited pizza rolls, to be honest. So we'll
that's
see.
That's a fair ambition. Okay, shall we end things on a serious note? Sounds pretty
Ooh,
nice. All right,
serious.
we'll take it a little bit seriously. So, what's your advice on up and coming analysts that aren't already pros, or do you think it's kind of just going to move towards a pros only co-casting sort of world?
When I started, I guess I already knew there was no one who was doing what I envisioned myself doing, I guess, like, because the only analysts were ex-pros, or the only co-casters were ex-pros for the most part. I'm not really thinking of anyone that wasn't. So I guess the whole point for me was I was trying to find something that was different and that would make me stand out. And so that's what all the stats work did. Was like doing all the stat stuff and then working for Complexity for like doing analyst work for them for like a year plus and helping them achieve like better results at tournaments. Not that I probably helped very much, to be honest, because I was completely garbage back then. But that gave me a whole different perspective on the game compared to a lot of other people. Maybe not to the same level as a pro, but it was different. And obviously, you have to have at least some sort of charisma if you want to be in this business. So if you think that you can do it, just be yourself. If you think you're actually going to be interesting and you think you can come up with stuff that is, just make an enjoyable product. That's really what it comes down to. Don't be too boring. Be yourself. Don't try and be something you're not. Like you're not going to find any success if you're just trying to mimic and mirror other people. I learned that pretty fast. And the more I acted more like myself, stuff just seemed to fall quicker into place. So I don't think it'll be easy. That's for sure. That's a very hard road to go, and I would not recommend it to anyone. But don't do it if you think that you're going to make a career out of it. I never expected that to happen. So just do it if you actually genuinely love it, and that kind of stuff 100% comes through when you're casting. There's no doubt.
Wise words indeed. Alrighty, well. Any last questions, Mo?
No, I've asked everything I wanted to. So
Cool.
it's been very nice.
You've cleared through them.
And
all.
it was great to make you squirm on camera as well. That was fantastic.
I could tell I was squirming, frustratingly squirming. God,
This quid melts people. I feel like we should have come up with a nice, threatening name for it. Anyway, all right, we've had space ice cream, we've had Invoker with 2 spells, and we've had a TI discussion. Thank you very much, Trent, for coming onto the podcast, and thank you all for watching, and of course, Drag and Drop and Beacott for their questions as well. That's going to be it from us, but if you enjoyed the podcast, then please do throw it a follow on Twitch, go over to Twitter, and throw Trent, your man, a follow as well, because he has been very good for us. And we're going to say goodbye, and thanks again for watching.